We'll go into Bhagavad Gita. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Panchamodhyayah. Karma Sannyasa Yogaha. So this chapter is called Karma Sannyasa Yogaha. Last week we saw up to verse number 6. In those few verses, the teacher, Lord Sri Krishna, explained the difference between sannyasa ashrama and grihastha ashrama. And in verse number 6 in particular, the teacher says, taking up sannyasa ashrama, physical lifestyle of a sannyasi, is dukkham aptum. For the ayogataha, for the one who is not prepared for it, the sannyasa ashrama gives you a lot more, adds to your pressures. Let's understand it. Dukkham apnotu is not that you become sad or something. Please understand the right word. Dukkham aptu means it adds to your pressure. Why do you take up a sannyasi lifestyle? To study. And if it adds to your pressure and affects your study, it is dukkham aptum. You have not, the purpose for which you have taken up that lifestyle is not being served. That's what the teacher is trying to highlight. So, there is a yoga yukta. A yoga yukta means one who has adopted a karma yoga lifestyle. The infrastructure itself is as though bespoke, custom made for facing all these challenges in life. Koni marna, all those things you will face those challenges. Very often it happens. You want to listen to something, internet won't work. You want to do something, they'll say battery run out. You want to record something, it says save something, it says disk space full. Small, these are called small challenges. Then come the bigger ones. You don't go to leave. Hey, can you go away for a 2.5 years? For working, there's only one working person here. Can you go away for a 2.5 year course to Swamiji's ashram, sit there and study? The company will say, get lost. Nobody gives you a leave and things like that. So there are no challenges there. In and through those challenges, you have to do Shravana Manana. So Yoga Yukta, one who is committed in the lifestyle, knows the purpose of the lifestyle, knows the objective of that lifestyle. Such a person is a Muni. A Muni is a balanced person, a person with a lot of dignity, refinement, relaxation, calm, inside and outside. He is a Muni. And Achirena Gachati, Adigachati, and like that. Nachirena, Shigrahi, very quickly he attains his goals. So if you say karma yogi lifestyle, the person becomes more and more prepared. Jnana yogyata prapti takes place. When jnana yogyata prapti takes place, and on that, the yogya antakarana, in that yogya antakarana, when something is, the teacher explains to you, it sticks. You are able to assimilate. For a person who doesn't understand even the basic, समझ में नहीं आया sir, it's like that. It will not work. So then you get more and more prepared. From verse number 7, Sri Krishna takes you to what sadhana is required. Whether you are a grahastha ashrami or you are a sannyasa ashrami, what sadhana is required? What should you do? Lifestyle apart, what sadhana should you do? Okay? This is where we have to understand something very clearly. The sadhanas, which are explained, come under the religious discipline category. So when we say Bhagavad Gita is universally applicable, so when I'm talking about religious discipline, perhaps a person who is not from this dharma, this Sanatana dharma, may not be able to readily accept the religious discipline. He has to look behind the spirit of the discipline. So that's where when we say universal and we are trying to teach a universal audience, we have to be very, very, what do you call, mindful about the words we use. There is a traditionalist who was brought up in a Sanatana Dharma Vedic heritage. Certain things he will understand very regularly, very easily. So about you tell him, get up, have a bath, do Sandhyavandana, do this Homa, do that Homa. He'll say, oh my God, this is what my grandfather taught me. Some other person will say, what the meaning of all this? Why should I do it? Not why should I do all this? So we have to be very mindful about how it is explained. Let's look at verse number 7. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma, yoga yukto vishuddhatma, yoga yukto vishuddhatma, vijitatma jitendriyah, vijitatma jitendriyah, vijitatma jitendriyah. Whole line. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma, vijitatma jitendriyah, yoga yukto vishuddhatma, vijitatma jitendriyah. Second line. Sarvabhutatma bhutatma, sarvabhutatma bhutatma, sarvabhutatma bhutatma, kurvannapi na lipyate, kurvannapi na lipyate, kurvannapi na lipyate. Whole line. Sarvabhutatma bhutatma, kurvannapi na lipyate, sarvabhutatma bhutatma, kurvannapi na lipyate. Whole verse. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma, vijitatma jitendriyah, sarvabhutatma bhutatma, kurvannapi na lipyate. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma, vijitatma jitendriyah, sarvabhutatma bhutatma, kurvannapi na lipyate. Repeat it to yourself. Repeat it aloud. Then there are two checks, ear and eyes. Read it out aloud. So yoga yukta. These are the words used. So what is the sadhana to be done? Yoga yukta. Vishuddhatma. Vijitatma jitendriya. So three sadhana given, whether you are a grihastha or a sannyasa ashrami. But having glorified sannyasa ashrama, grihastha ashrama, he is addressing you and me, Arjuna, you and me. He is not addressing sannyasis. He is addressing you and me. He says Yoga Yukta. What's a Yoga Yukta? A Yoga Yukta here yoga is Karma Yoga. A Karma Yogi who is Yukta. Yukta means one, who is fused with Karma Yoga. He is aligned with Karma Yoga in thought, word, and deed. So, what is Karma Yoga in thought, word, and deed? Dharma, Artha, Ka, pursuit. I will pursue what is proper, and it will be wealth, it will be pleasures, entertainment, but I will pursue it under in alignment, in conformity with what is proper. So once when we were taking this class, someone said, "Sir, I'm in a company, I'm in a junior management position. Then I'll be competing for middle management position. Then I'll be getting this management position, that management position, senior management, top management. How long will it take? Yeah, about 7.5 years. I hope to reach this. Then what will you do? I will leave it so that I can join a bigger position elsewhere. So what will you do? Now, all this is dharma. Please understand, competing, achieving, making money, working for some place for 7.5 years, then moving to another company, working here, then moving abroad, making a lot of money, saving, building assets. Everything is in alignment with dharma and is valid. And who is a yoga yukta? The Yoga Yukta is a fellow who is insulated against the pressure in these pursuits. You compete, you get selected. You Yoga Yukta or Ayukta doesn't matter at all. You compete, you don't get selected. What's your response? You get selected, but this year because of profits and things like that, we can give you a position, but we cannot give you the pay that you are really looking forward to. You are working for a family company in which the chairman will only be from the family. The top man who was in his 60s passed away. All these are real life incidents. The top man in the 60s passed away. His younger son, age 19. The first one is a daughter, got married. The younger son is 19. He will become chairman of the company. What has he done? Second year BCom. That also out of 5 or 6 subjects, he has got what do we do? We call it back in 3 subjects. He has to apply again for supplementary. And as far as I know, he never cleared them. He used to say, "Hum BCom sir, LLB hai." But I know he didn't clear either BCom or LLB. Now you are the fellow who has worked with the company like donkey for 34 years. You will never become chairman. So you have to face this reality. If not becoming a chairman is going to hurt you, then you are not a yoga yukta. You are not alive to certain realities. Okay, anything, possessions, positions, people, 3 P's: possession, position, people, are all finite, will come and go. Okay, or sukha dukkha mishritatvam. While a possession may give you a lot of pleasure, of the person associated with, there's a family member who doesn't like you having that. And whenever you use it, the person says, "You are ignoring me," and you look at that. Gone, your pleasure is gone. Sukha dukkha has come. Suppose you say, "Okay, I won't look at all these gadgets, I'll keep looking at you." She will say, "You've got nothing else to do." She or he, anybody, you've got nothing else to do. So there is a saying, very often you say, "Get the man out of the house first at 9 o'clock in the morning." Get the working fellow out. Whether he's working or not, get him out of the house by. Some people say. Bhagavad Gita doesn't say all this. So Yoga Yukta is one who is aligned, who pursues, who competes. But when the results are not in his favor, he is able to maintain a balance. So let's take 2 levels, okay? One is a yogi, one who spontaneously maintains balance. The other is you and me. How do we maintain balance? By deliberate effort, by self-talk, by Ishvara, may I be able to handle this choiceless situation. It has to be deliberate. You want to play a game, okay? Previously, now it is things have changed a lot. Oh, when these people go to play cricket and things like that, abroad. Now Indians are making a lot of money. Those days it was very, very frugal, very, very frugal, especially if, when you see the 83 performance and things like that. When Indians went there, they didn't even expect to qualify. So before the semi-finals, they had booked the return ticket. They were faced with challenge because they were qualified for semi-finals. So they had to cancel the ticket. They said cancellation charges are there. That manager had to go beg around. It's a challenge. Now there's not a big deal. So people learn to make compromises. With your daily allowance, people used to wash clothes at home. So you make compromises. See, there are people who have lived, it just happens. There was a person when we were in Kolkata, there was a person I knew. He used to learn stenography from my father. My father was an expert teacher of stenography. And he learned stenography from my father and moved to Bombay. Few years later, he came back and said, I'm doing very well, sir. So my father asked him, what's your lifestyle like? He was not married those days. So he says, sir, I get up early. I have to take a train anyway to go down to the place where he used to work somewhere in Kolaba area. He lived in one of the suburbs, western suburbs or something. I'm not very familiar. I'm familiar with the Bilapur line. So I'm not familiar with that line. He used to work somewhere in the suburb, maybe Andheri or someplace. I don't know. He used to go to office. He says, if I take a train at about 7 o'clock in the morning, I reach Kolaba by about this time. And he says, I have a breakfast somewhere quickly and go into a company at lawyer's office at 8 o'clock, 8:30, where I do typing of drafts for about an hour and a half. This was late 60s, early 70s. Then he says, from 10 o'clock, right next door is my office. I am in my office. I work from 10 to 1, lunch break, 5:30, I'm free. 5:45, I go into another lawyer's office and work there for 2 hours. 8 o'clock, the trains are reasonably empty and I find my way back home. On the way, I buy some pav. Then my father asked him, what do you eat otherwise? He said, sir, weekend, Saturday also I work so hard. Saturday I can work for longer hours because office gets over at 1 o'clock, 1:30. So I work for two lawyers after that. So he was a fellow who used to work with lawyers. He said, what do you do on Sundays? He says, sir, Sundays I wake up, wash my clothes. I try cooking something on my own and eat and rest on Sunday. Well, Lord, become a true karma yogi and become well. Hasn't he not compromised on his lifestyle? Has he not given up raga dvesha? Has he not made compromises? Is he not committed to doing something? In the same way, a yoga yukta is committed to doing artha kama in alignment with dharma. I don't mind competing. I will compete. I will work very hard. But money alone will not be my goal. Money will certainly be my goal. But for the sake of money, I am not to compromise on dharma. I know a good chartered accountant friend of mine. I asked him, once, I said, friend, there's a person who wants to join your company, and can you give a certificate that they've done 2 year internship with you? They'll pay you what? He said, there's something I don't do. And without batting, he said, Mohan, even if you wanted it, I won't do it for you. For the sake of money, he won't compromise. So, money, for the sake of money, I won't compromise. Is it possible for you and me? If we have been, as students of Bhagavad Gita, can we make money? Definitely it's priority, but the higher priority is alignment with Dharma. Seeking pleasure is definitely enjoyable for me. Buying things and gadgets and living a good lifestyle is definitely something pleasant and I like it. But I'm not going to compromise on what is proper for that. Can we do that? Karma yogi, what happens immediately? Freedom. Freedom from conflict. Then there are certain things I really want. I want to really occupy that position. I want to live. I want to live in a place, nice little villa kind of thing. And you're able to walk in, walk out, nice flower garden where I'm sitting, able to sing songs and maybe do a pravacham there. And walk in to see a nice little, what do you call, a puja mandap with Krishna, marble Krishna, sing arati, puja. I would like to do all that. Love to do it. But what if it doesn't happen? And when I'm doing for it, one, you have to work for it. You can't just be a wool gathering for it. You have to work for it. And when you have to work for it, there are certain realities. It costs money. Buying such a villa, whether anywhere in the city today, is going to cost you not less than 4.55 crores. Do you have that kind of money? If you don't have that mind of, don't say 20 years of life I wasted. That's wasteful thought process. But even as I am pursuing something, can I say, Ishvara, if your anugraha is there, may I have this. If your anugraha is there, may I have this. I don't have to tell him, if I don't get this, I will accept whatever you give me. No, you don't have to say that. See, it is like saying, sir, I am applying, sir, uske baad aapki marzi, sir. No, man, I don't want to talk to Ishvara like that. I want to tell Ishvara clearly, this is what I want. I only pray that may your anugraha be there. When Ishvara anugraha is there, I will be in alignment with what is proper. If I am not in alignment with what is proper, Ishvara anugraha will not be there. Simple story, Mahabharat, Krishna says, one side I am there, one side my Sena is there. What do you choose? The mind is aligned to what is proper. Arjun says, come what may, I want you on my side. Duryodhan says, without you, you even will not fight. Give me your resources. The mind is not aligned with dharma. The mind aligned with dharma will say, Ishvara anugraha. I want it this way. Oh Lord, I want it this way. May your anugraha be there. May I not violate dharma for this purpose. Such a person is a yoga yukta. And this has to be brought into your daily lifestyle. Daily lifestyle, managing your raga dvesha, managing your ahara, vihara, everything. This has to be done. You don't say, give me whatever, I will accept. In case it doesn't happen the way you want, then I say, if this is your prasad, I accept it as your prasad. But I will continue to strive for what I want. Ishvara arpana buddhi, Ishvara prasada buddhi. Next comes Vishuddhatma. Vishuddhatma means one whose mind is free from distractions. See, Shuddhatma doesn't mean that the fellow is so pure and he thinks only. Free from distractions when I do pursue my goal. I want, so Yoga Yukta, apart from pursuing all this, as a Yoga Yukta, I clearly have my priority for Shravana Manana. Our Swamiji used to say, at least once a week you come to Sunday, that means you are do all your life, do all your work possible. When I was working, Swamiji used to say, I know you'll be very busy. I know you've got a lot of work to do. I know on Saturday you train. Those days Saturday was a hard day. I know on Saturdays you train. But don't miss the Sunday satsang. So in the priority, a yoga yukta does not meet Shravana Manana. Shravana Manana, listen. Manana, reflect. If you have doubts, ask. Don't ask just for the sake of asking. There are some people who listen. What doubt can I raise in this? That is not Manana. That is neither Shravana. That is Utarkam. Say, okay, makes sense. Even if it doesn't readily make sense, Mananam is what must be the intention of the teacher to tell me this? Teacher says, go, you do Karma Yoga. I mean, the teacher is not caring for my interest. I say, what must be his intention? Mananam is trying to interpret this in my favor. Not standing in judgment and saying, no, 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 it doesn't apply to me. It doesn't work like that. And Vishuddhatma. Vishuddhatma is one who has, I will not say no distractions, who knows how to handle distraction. At the Muni level, I tell you, even Munis have distractions. Everyone has distractions. There is nobody in the world who does not have a distraction. At that level, Muni, he learns to manage distractions like that. No telephone calls. I can tell my secretary. I used to do it in Bombay. ये फोन सब आप अटेंड करो. Then I have to give him a rider. घर से फोन आया तो give it to me. Because one day I told him, सब अटेंड करो बोलो साहब busy है. And he tells the family साहब busy है. Then that day's dinner gone. सर सर घर में फोन आया. सर घर से मैडम के नाम पे नहीं आया सर. आई सेड ये नंबर से आ सकता है यार, एक बार पूछ लो. So Vishuddhatma is an intelligent restraint. Okay, which is Vishuddhatma, whose mind is not cluttered. That's a beautiful word. I got it. It's not a cluttered mind. It's not a mind that chatters all the time. That okay, you are okay, you're not okay, you are not okay. That's not okay, that's not okay, this is not okay, this is not okay, they are not okay, they are not okay. Nobody cares for me, nobody cares for me. I did all this for these people all their lifetime. Nobody has given. Nobody even appreciates. This is a person who does not have Shuddha. This is a person, one who is chattering all the time. If this happens, what sadhana you should do? We'll come to that. We'll come to that when we do verse number 8 and 9. Yeah, 8 and 9 are meant for that. I'll come to that. Then you are a Vijitatma Jitendriya. They go together. Jitendriya is one who has mastered his sense organs. We have to understand something. The sense organs are placed outside. The eyes will go to see forms. I put my mobile phone on my left here. And the eyes will dart every time it blows. It will dart. So what is the best thing? Put it face down. Yeah. I'm a Vijitatma. I'm a Jitendriya. I've seen that the input from that distracting day, I put it face down. Phone calls do come. Silent. At a higher level, switch off. Airplane mode. Is it possible? Step by step. Some people know, sir, if I switch off, sir, some messages, what big message is going to come? Some stupid forwards will stop coming. That's all. Is some earth shaking thing going to happen? Somebody will say, I tried calling you, but you did not pick up. Or I tried reaching you, I could not reach you. As long as Krishna is able to reach you. Jitendriya. Now, Jitendriya is Vijitatma. Okay, Jitatma. Okay, वश में किया हुआ शरीर जिसका, one whose body is under control. I am able to sit without much problem for 1 long hour. I can't say I need a back pillow, this pillow. अरे नहीं होता सर, घुटनों में दर्द है. I've got pain here, I've got that pain, this pain, that pain. I have it all, but I am objective and I can handle them. विजितात्मा, वश में किया हुआ है शरीर जिसका. Jitendriya. Jitendriya is one whose sense organs are under control. First line, the teacher is talking about 4 energies in particular, if you like that word. Physical energy. Okay. Physical energy. Psychological energy. Sensory energy. And above all, intellectual energy. All these energies work in your favor. Such a person is a yoga yukta. Okay. It may not happen overnight. It may take a lifetime, perhaps more, maybe another lifetime. But the teacher says, as a karma yogi, you have to work for it. This will lead you to jnana yogyata. And a sannyasi also has to do all 4. You can't say the sannyasi will not be a jitendriya, will not be a vijitatma. His mind will get all over the place. He has to be even more disciplined than A sanya has to should not bother about where my food is coming next morning. Imagine the kind of rains that happens in Bombay, and the whole place is flooded. No man, who is going to give me khana tomorrow? If that's a thought, there's a problem. The thought is possible. The thought is possible. We can't say the sannyasi should not have such thoughts. He can definitely think. But how is he managing that thought process? So, yoga yukta vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriya. One more value. Beautiful. Sarva bhutatma bhutatma. This comes only when you study. First four is a matter of practice. Practice for a period of time, length of time, regularly, consistently. But Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma comes with study, proper study. Unless Shravana Manana is done, you will not get Sarva Bhuta Bhutatma. You won't get that. How does Sarva Bhuta Bhutatma come? It comes from the thought process. You have to sit down and think. We have studied it in chapter 3, we have studied earlier. This is the body mind sense complex, an object of my knowledge. I am a conscious being who is aware of this. So, Sarva Bhuta Bhutatma, Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. The thought processes, these are objects of my knowledge, and I am the knower. I know, I am aware. I am in the form of consciousness. You have to run this process, deliberate thought process every day for some time. I am a conscious being. Am I aware of my body? Aware of my sense organs? Am I aware of the distractions in the mind? I told you now, if distractions come, what to do? I am aware of the distractions in the mind. You have detached yourself from the distractions. I'm aware of the distractions in the mind. I am aware that I am going through a challenge aligning myself to Dharma when playing this role. My God, fantastic, it will start working. Objectivity. I am a conscious being. 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 Keep running that. Then comes the next step. The conscious being which throbs in this body, the same consciousness throbs in all other things around me. It's a higher level. It's like you're going through a gold shop, you're going to a gold jewelry shop. Are you not very Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma there? All shapes and sizes and weights, but you know for sure the gold that you are having in your hand is what that pervades in all other jewelry all over the shop or anywhere in the world. Is it not clear to you? The light that is illumining my hand is the light that illumines this. Is the light that illumines this. The light is just the same. The objects illumined are different. What to do about it, we'll say. But uh, when we say Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma, you start thinking like this deliberately. You have to place time every day and do this deliberate thought process. What will happen? Kurvannapi na lipyate. You can find that these distractions, these disturbances, they lose their capacity to sink their teeth in you. Why does this person treat me like this? He has always been treating me like this. Now he is putting that person against me. You don't have to change the thought pattern. Just have to say, this is the thought pattern. I am aware of this thought pattern. You have developed an element of vairagya. And that thought pattern will not sink its teeth into you and disturb you psychologically, physiologically, and any other way. Your appetite gone, nothing will happen. A certain objectivity grows in you. And Karma Yoga, Grahasthashrama lifestyle is perhaps a very good place to cultivate this objectivity. That's what he says in verse number 7. Verse number 8 and 9 we have to read together, and that's entirely about objectivity. Objectivity in action. Okay? Naiva kinchit karomiti yuktamanyeta tattvavit. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit. The next is a beautiful composition. Pashyan shrinvan sprishan jigran ashnan gachan swapanchvasan. Pashyan shrinvan sprishan jigran ashnan gachan swapanchvasan. Okay, tongue twister. It's very easy. Now I'll read the two of them again for you. Now verse number 9. Pralapan visrijan grinnan unmishan nimishannapi. Pralapan visrijan grinnan unmishan nimishannapi. Indriyanindriyartheshu vartante iti dharayan. Indriyanindriyartheshu vartanta iti dharayan. Listen to this again and again so that you can get it inside. Okay, I'll leave it again for you. Naiva kanchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit. Pashyan shrinvan sprishan jigran ashnan gachan swapanchvasan. Pralapan visrijan grinnan unmishan nimishannapi. Indriyanindriyartheshu vartanta iti dharayan. Okay, I'm going to take not just this session, the next session also I'll explain this in detail to you. There is an exercise which some of us in this group meet in the morning and do. We call it a manan. Our objective is to gain objectivity. What is objectivity? I tell people, sit comfortably. Do this, do this, do this with your mind. So you are involving the mind deliberately into an activity. Then I tell the people, take a deep breath a couple of times. Deliberate. Now, watch the breathing activity. It is an involuntary function. Watch it. What does the mind get? Objective. It watches an activity with, it's observing an activity. And that in observation, there is an absorption. Okay. So the teacher says, look into all your involuntary function first. Digestion. You don't do anything. Assimilation, distribution in the system, you don't do anything. Heartbeat, you don't do anything. Pumping of blood, you don't do anything. Okay, growth of hair, long growth of hair, you don't do anything. Then just look at all the involuntary function in the system and be objective towards them. Now take one more important step. Pashyan. Seeing. I see. Step back and observe the function of seeing. Just step back. Just step back and observe the function of seeing. See what happens inside. Shrinvan. Step back. For example, very often what happens, suppose you hear cacophony. Now, right now, a little while ago, as I was doing the session, the little child comes rushing inside. And she says, I want to wave, I want to see all these people. She says, why is Tata, you're not taking me? What is the immediate reaction? You are getting disturbed. What can you do? You can say, the ears are listening to sound not aligned to what you are doing right now. Immediate thing, reaction is controlled. Otherwise, what would we say? Hey, why do you disturb me when I'm doing an important talk? At least before doing it, switch off the microphone and camera. Can I tell I'm doing an important class? Can you wait for another 10-15 minutes before you bring the child inside? Shinvan, Sprisham, okay, touching. Jigran, okay. Jigran is smelling. This you are not involved. Observe the activity of smelling. Observe the activity of the olfactory nerves. How it reacts to pleasant smell, how it reacts to rancid stuff, how it reacts to fetid miasma. Just be observed without judging, Hey, this smells bad. This smells, I am aware of something smelling not so pleasant. It's an exercise. And when you do that, objectivity. You learn to distance yourself from an activity. Okay? Gachan in the same way, moving. Swapan, lying down. Okay? Ashnan. Everything, whatever you do. Ashnan is eating. Yeah. Bhojan. Gachan. Swapan. Shwasan. Saas leta hua. All these things. Then what else do you do? Then you do what is called pralapan. Speaking. Can you be objective to every word you speak? Not, not throughout the day, at least for some part of the day. Can you speak very deliberately? Can you speak mindfully? Pralapan. Visrajan, giving up something. Grinan, catching, hold on to something. Unmission, aankhon ka kholna. Nimishan napi, the opening and closing of eyes. That means, quite simply, the functions of the sense organs in the field of the sense objects. Can you create an objective situation as an exercise as some part of the day, which soon we will start in our Manan sessions. In our Manan session, even if one person doesn't comes, we will do it. That's what Manan is going to be. We are going to observe the opening and closing of the eyes. I'm going to observe the closing of the eyes. The remaining of the eyes remaining closed. What's happening inside the closed eyes? Become objective. Become objective. Withdraw from the anatma and abide in the atma as a exercise, as a sadhana. He is giving you the sadhana to do. Because in the long run, what is moksha? Withdrawing yourself from an atma and abiding in the atma. Withdrawing yourself in various forms and abiding in the sarva bhutatma bhutatma. That's an exercise. That's the ultimate objective. For that to become spontaneous, I have to do deliberate exercise. And Karma Yoga, Grahasthashram is an ideal position, ideal environment. Going through pain, I am aware of the pain in the system. Don't go tell this to the doctor. Doctor, I am aware of the pain. Then he'll say, I am aware of something wrong here. Tell to yourself when the chatter comes, "Arey yaar, I'm not able to bear this." Change the conversation. I'm aware of the intense pain in the system. I'm aware of the discomfort which is causing me. I am aware of the reactions that are likely to happen. And look at what happens to you. Try this. Try this. In every situation. If you're not able to try it today, write it down in a journal. Try again tomorrow. Okay? Indriyani indriyartheshu vartante iti dharayan. Understand the sense objects are playing in their field and I am an observer. Naiva kinchit karomi iti manet. I do nothing. I am an observer because you are a conscious being. You are the conscious being which is observing the body mind sense complex playing in its field. The next step we will see the roles playing. But this is a simple exercise, not a simple exercise, sorry to use the word. It is a deliberate exercise which a karma yogi can do, you and I can do. If you're not able to fall asleep, don't curse the world. Say, I am aware of the fact that I am not able to fall asleep. I am aware of the fact that I am not able to, I don't know the reason. No. Simply, I am aware of the fact that I am not able to put a finger on the reason. There is a certain disturbance inside. I am aware of a certain disturbance happening in my mind. I am not able to readily put my I am aware of the fact that I am not able to readily put my finger on the problem. I am aware of the fact that I am not able to take a firm decision on these issues. Look at how the objectivity grows inside you. So this is what is indicated in verses 7, 8 and 9. We will read further. Okay, which talks about Brahmana, ब्रह्मण्याध्याय कर्माणि संगम त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रमिवाम्भस पद्मपत्रमिवाम्भस. Just as the lotus leaf does not, the waters don't stick to the lotus leaf, the papam won't also stick to you. That is in the next verse, which we will keep in the coming session. Still we meet on Friday next. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनीं देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्रह्मणा सन्तु निर्भया सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति शांति शांति. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम. सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय हो. स्वामी दयानंद महाराज की जय हो. सब संतों की जय हो. may ईश्वर अनुग्रह be in your lives. may शास्त्र कृपा गुरु कृपा आत्म कृपा be in your lives. Om. We meet next Friday. Om.